Southwest has never been president before.
But we've had Olusegun Obasanjo.
No, Olusegun Obasanjo is an Igbo man. He came from Anambra State. His father is an Igbo man.
Yep. Nosy, nosy, nosy. I wanted to whet your appetite. You don't know where I'm sneaking in things in this video, but this video is a dynamite, beautiful beginning to the end. Those are the kind of things you're going to hear and laugh. So I just wanted to throw you that little soundbite. The real detail is down the line. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. I am in an Nnamdi Kanu mode, and I am in an Igbo leadership bashing mode, from the traditional rulers to the political rulers to the business rulers to the civic rulers, and even to the grassroots that is taking the nonsense from these leaders. I am in an Nnamdi Kanu mode. It's time to roll with Fred Nwankwo Unleashed. By the way, have you subscribed to our channel? We need your subscription in order to grow. And so that you don't forget at the end, we'll really appreciate if you share the video. And don't forget, you need to like and make comments. Tell us what we're doing wrong. Tell us what we're doing right. I think you may want to go get your favorite beverage, whether it's a bottle of beer, a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, a glass of milk, or some orange juice, whatever floats your boat. This episode talks to equity-minded Nigerians, fair-minded Nigerians, Nigerians who believe in justice for all. But for the bigots in all parts of the country, it's going to make them cringe. It starts out talking directly to cabal-pocketed Igbos. It also addresses Yoruba bigots, not Yorubas, not Yoruba progressives, the bigots among them. To a large extent, where their insecurity comes from when it comes to their phobia about Igbos. And you're going to trace it to inability to compete in an open world, inability to work hard to earn. The ones in Asherok whose only source of income has been higher level palliatives from the state of Nigeria. It's going to address it. But I think the best part is that I'm going to bring in what non-Igbos are saying about Igbos. A progressive Yoruba person doesn't care what an Igbo person does in Lagos. And he knows that Lagos belongs to Lagosians. And he welcomes Igbos. With all that said, we're going to start out with Nnamdi Kanu's plight today in Nigeria. And I'm going to be talking directly to Igbo leaders about their lack of action, their shameful lack of action to do whatever it takes to bring our son out of the custody of this wicked cabal in Nigeria. And until Igbo leaders show balls, these idiots in Asherok and wherever the cabal is are not going to take Igbos seriously. What a start. Hello, everybody. Once again, this is Fred Nwankwo coming to you from our studios in Chicago with another edition of Bold Talk on Island TV. And as usual, I like to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, depending on where you are around the world. Just not to lose you, what that lady was saying in that song is she's crying her heart out and calling on Igbos, especially Igbo leaders, to do whatever it takes to get Nnamdi Kanu out of jail. I want to talk directly to Igbo leaders. And when I say Igbo leaders, I mean starting with the traditional leaders, going to the political leaders, going to the business leaders, and to the civic leaders. What has gone wrong in Igbo land? Too often we see funerals going on in the Igbo powerful compounds, rich Igbo men, big traditional rulers, our politicians. And when we see these things going on, or when they are launching whatever they built in their states, the governors, you have President Buhari come, you have Bola Ahmed Tinubu come, you have powerful Hausa people and Fulani, powerful Yorubas, not to mention Igbos and people from the South. The mighty Nigerians are there. And when I'm watching from my peon position, I'm saying to myself, this man must be a very well-connected Igbo man in Nigeria. Look at the faces of the who is who in Nigeria attending his birthday party, his coronation, and on and on and on. And shamefully, what that has turned out to is nothing but photo opportunities and lip service and trying to show off. Because when it really comes to it, these people have no clout. And Igbos need to start holding them for their lack of clout in Nigeria. And when they show those things, Igbos who have guts should tell them, this is all fancy. What I just said is, this is all fancy. You're worthless to Igbos. And with that prelude, my question goes, starting now with the Obi of Onitsha, the Eze of Aro, the Igwe of Nnewi, the Eze of Owerri, the Eze of Mbise, the Eze Ngwa, the Eze of Enugu or Igwe of big Enugu towns, whether it's Kanu or all those places where we brag, we go around Urhobo and all that. How do you sleep at night? How do you sleep at night knowing that Nnamdi Kanu is rotting away in jail? A man whose only sin is to speak on something that we all know. Nnamdi Kanu's position is the Igbo position in Nigeria. Nnamdi Kanu's course is the Igbo course in Nigeria. You can't dissociate yourself from it. I'm talking to the Igwes, I'm talking to the Obis, I'm talking to the Ezes. You cannot dissociate yourself from Nnamdi Kanu's position. Because while you wimpily refuse to talk about it publicly and on national TV, in your bedroom, in your palace, in your private quarters, talking with fellow Igbos, you're telling Igbos that what they are doing to Igbos in Nigeria is unfair. What kind of leader are you if you could say that in your bedroom and cannot speak truth to power? And then to the business leaders in Igbo land that really have a lot of money, and we see where you travel around and throw out hundreds of thousands of naira, sometimes millions of naira in show-off giveaways without any real harnessable business that employs Igbo in mass like Adenuga does in Yoruba land. And Adenuga employs Nigerians. Why can't you build things in Igbo land to employ Nigerians? But being in Igbo land means that more Igbos will benefit. They don't need your fling away money here and there. But that's by the way. The main point is, of all the clout you exhibit when you come home and try to show that you are the king of Igbos when it comes to connections around Nigeria, Prince Atoeze, you're a very wealthy man. You're a very good-hearted man. You have a lot of friends across Nigeria in very high places, all the way to the Oba's palaces and Asher Rock and Northern Sultans, Oba of Benin, all across, Obong of Calabar. How can Nnamdi Kanu be in jail with all your connections and you haven't been able to put a team together to go to the powers that be and say, set my brother free? He did nothing different from what Boko Haram is doing, Fulani herdsmen are doing, and Sunday Igboho did. Chief Emeka Ofo, you're a very wealthy man. Your money speaks volumes. How can Nnamdi Kanu be rotten away in detention and you sleep at night? I don't see how. Chief Emmanuel Iwuanyanwu, the chairman of Ohaneze, what kind of Ohaneze do you lead? What face do you have to talk to Ndigbo as the leader of Ndigbo if Nnamdi Kanu is in jail and you walk around speaking big English and Nnamdi Kanu cannot be released? These are serious food for thought I want you people to think of. And I hope I said it respectfully enough, because God knows that I respect every one of you. But that respect is in question. An Igbo son fighting an Igbo cause is languishing away in jail in Nigeria since 2021. After what he went through in 2014 and 2016 in the hands of the Nigerian government, he's languishing away in jail, and none of you have enough clout to go to Buhari then or to go to Tinubu now to tell them that you're not going to get anything from Igbos in Nigeria. You didn't get their votes, and you're not going to appease them in any way until Nnamdi Kanu comes out of jail. And to our political leaders, starting with the governor, and I'm talking to 4 of them because those of them doesn't count. how do your constituents view you if they haven't seen you categorically make statements, not lip service? Forget that lip service we hear from Soludo. Forget that lip service we hear from Alex Oti and Mba and whoever the guy is in Ebonyi, the stooge for Umahi. Forget all that nonsense. When can you get together as a political team and coordinate with the business leaders and the tribe and go to Asher Rock and make your demands on Nnamdi Kanu? And we know that Umahi doesn't count. So I'm talking to the ones who may, and I say may, be able to convince anybody that they are in line with getting Nnamdi Kanu out. But so far it's been lip service. What did Nnamdi Kanu do that's different from what Sunday Igbo did? And I'm a big Sunday Igbo fan, so I'm not criticizing that Sunday Igbo is a free man. No. I'm saying if Sunday Igbo is a free man, which he should be a free man, because he didn't do anything wrong, in a government that commits the atrocities Nigeria's government commits, every segment of Nigeria has the right to agitate to go their separate ways. But if Sunday Igbo is a free man, and he's free because behind the scenes, we know Tinubu didn't, but we know that respectable Yoruba leaders behind the scenes worked on his behalf to get him out of jail in Benin Republic. If Sunday Igbo is free, thanks to Yoruba leaders, why is Nnamdi Kanu in jail? If Boko Haram is getting all kinds of concessions, thanks to threats from Fulani and Hausa leaders, why is Nnamdi Kanu languishing away in jail? If Fulani herdsmen are committing the atrocities they are committing in Nigeria and being rehabilitated and given billions of naira to rehabilitate them, why is an Igbo man different from all that? The reason Nnamdi Kanu is different and languishing in jail is because in today's Nigeria, there's not a single Igbo leader, traditional, political, business, or civic, that is worth a dime to the Igbo cause. They are all for themselves. It's all about their selfish needs. And shamefully to the Igbo grassroots, we continue to treat these people like they mean shit. They don't. None of them deserves any respect until they respect us. And the only respect we want from them is for them to fight our cause, the Nnamdi Kanu and the IPOB cause. Today, I have joined to say is the Igbo cause. We have differences, but that's differences we can work out behind the scenes in our Igbo. Let me make it clear here that God knows that I'm on record to be opposed to the way that IPOB, for the most part, handles this agitation for Igbos going their separate way. Let me go on record to say that I've been on my show and in my writings critical of Nnamdi Kanu and his excessive rhetoric, especially his blanket statement about Igbo elders. But at this point in 2024, I don't give a damn what Nnamdi Kanu's rhetoric was in the past. I've heard worse rhetoric. Nnamdi Kanu has never killed anybody. Boko Haram has. Fulani herdsmen have. Nnamdi Kanu has never burned anybody's house down or any burned people, burned towns. Boko Haram have and Fulani herdsmen have, and they are roaming free in Nigeria. But Nnamdi Kanu is in jail because the government is uncomfortable with his rhetoric. And on that note, I'd like every person watching, especially the bigots who don't like what I'm saying, to go and pull out tapes of Nnamdi Kanu's rhetoric in the past. Yeah, some of them are fiery, some of them I disagree with. But pull those tapes out and tell me there is a single thing Nnamdi Kanu is saying that Sunday Igbo is not saying, that Boko Haram is not saying, that Fulani herdsmen are not saying. So if those people are good enough to be out in the streets of Nigeria, why is Nnamdi Kanu languishing in jail? I am very disappointed at Igbo leaders. They are a disgrace to leadership in Igbo land. And I know that Taobo, and I believe that they can change and make me come back here and not take back what I'm saying now, but give them accolades and say that after we came after them, that they really went to bed and slept about it and came out with a plan to get our son out. Nnamdi Kanu should be out of jail within the next 4 weeks. And on that note, let me caution Igbo leaders, but Nigeria in general, but starting, charity begins at home. The Southeast is a keg of gunpowder, ready to explode. When a keg gets saturated the way it is in Southeast today, and it is in most of Nigeria, you never know when that explosion will come. In 1983, when I came to Nigeria under Shagari, everybody who saw me from when I came till the coup happened on December 31st, 1983, the coup that brought in Buhari, I was telling people that there's no way people could tolerate this. And I was cautioning that my fear is that Nigerians are so frustrated that a time will come when a driver will be driving kids to school or shopping or whatever, and these angry Nigerians, not armed robbers, not kidnappers, will just stop the car, tell the driver to come out and set the car on fire with the kids, or kill the kids and send the driver home to go tell the master. That's not what I wished then. That's not what I prayed for. But that's the feeling I was getting because I've seen around the world the outcome of frustration when people have it to their neck. When the coup took place on December 31st, 1983, everybody who saw me before the coup, who I talked to, was telling me, Fred, you said it. It wasn't genius. I didn't say anything. Any astute political and social observer could see that Nigeria was getting ready to explode if something didn't happen. Unfortunately, what happened was a military coup that now held us hostage for the next 18 years. I hope a coup doesn't happen in Nigeria today. But if one happens, you're definitely not gonna see me crying. When things start burning all across Nigeria and burning in the backyards of these powerhouses in Igbo land, they may not burn the powerhouse, but they are gonna burn people very close to the powerhouse. And when they burn the people very close to you, your life may follow out of a stroke or high blood pressure or heart attack or however it affects you because it finally hit home. A word is enough for the wise. And about Igbos, I say, Anebu, anebu, adebu, anebu, anebu, gwebu, adebu, gwebu. Umu Igbo kain golibe, Umu Igbo no namaka. What I said there is that You can't lift the ground. You can be jealous of the ground, but you can't lift it. It stays right where it is. That's Igbos. You can't move a mountain. You could climb it, but you can't move it. That's Igbos. Igbos bring a lot to Nigeria. Just like many others in Nigeria, I'm not saying Igbos are the best, but Igbos take a second seat to nobody in Nigeria. Igbos, you really need to market the advantages you bring to Nigeria. You sat back for 50 plus years since the war ended, hurting from the lies, but pretending you were not hearing it, but it was hurting you. It's time to start telling your own stories. And if you can't tell your own stories, bring out stories people are telling about you that are beautiful stories. I have one that a friend of mine who watches my show saw last night and sent it to me and said, I think you'll like this one. I'm not going to mention his name, but I just want to tell him that I like this one. And I think my audience is going to like this one. Kick back and enjoy what this Urhobo man has to say about Igbos.
I'm your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki, the one of Igbo land, the Oyamama one of Aba. Oyamama one of Aba. I want to talk about my experience in Igbo land, and it will shock you. I went to Igbo land when I was 26 years old. I went for National Youth Service. National Youth Service was a very wonderful policy that was introduced by the some of the fathers of this nation to breed national unity and integration. And when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. I understood the purpose of National Youth Service, even though I was very young. So when I went there at 26, I went with a wife for youth service, and I had a child there. I was among the first batch then. Subsequently, my colleagues, Dr. Steve Anyanro and is it Dr. Akin Shodikbo and one other person, they came to see me. And then I had two quarters. I had the government quarters at number 810 Park Road, near where Multi-Line is. Unikoko Hotel was somewhere. Ambassador Hotel was somewhere there. So I lived in those government quarters. But I also had a locum somewhere, Grandel Hospital, number 24, Okpulumobu Road. I went to see that house recently, owned by one Chief Carlo. And so we packed our clothes. We were going to the government quarters at Park Road to wash because water was difficult up the hill unless you went to the Okpulumobu River or Papayanya supplied you water. Old Aba people will know what I'm talking about. So we packed our clothes, put in a bag, and because we were young and very excited, we had not seen each other since we left UI, we got to 810 Park Road and we disembarked. Every person thought that the other person carried the bag of clothes. It was after we had dropped and the taxi had gone that we looked for the bag of clothes. We didn't see a big bag of clothes. And we were thinking of what to do. After about 30 minutes, the driver came back with the bag of clothes. In Igbo land, all the things I've heard about Igbo people, driver came back with my bag of clothes. I said, this place, I will live in this town. That's how I settled in Aba. And I made up my mind, I will serve the nation and serve the people. So I worked under one Dr. Wankwo, who was married to a Russian, an Ungwa man. And he was so nice to me. He will send they will send a driver to come and carry me from my house and drop me in the office and carry me back home to Okpulumobo Road. I said, no, these people, I must serve here. And so I served very well, served with my heart, took care of patients, interacted with the people, and then I got married to my wife. Okay, I got married, yes, I had gotten married. She came to live with me there, and those people took care of my eldest son, Kelechi. We named him Kelechi, an Igbo name, named him a Mobosa and Urhobo name. They took care of him, bought clothes, did everything, so they absorbed me. And I also noticed that they found 10 jobs for me, 10 different jobs, different places. Either because I was good or they are intrinsically good. The Igbo man is not afraid of competition from a stranger because he is very enterprising and very competitive to dynamic. The next thing is that they found 10 jobs for me. I started working in Royal Hospital and I had a lot of acceptance. People like Nico Wogugu, they accepted me. The church accepted me and gave me positions of leadership as I grew in the system. And then there's one thing about the Igbo man. When you live among them, they cater for you as a stranger among them more than their own brother. If their brother is oppressing you, they will tell you, oh, stranger, onyumba, onyebiarabia. They will protect you even against their own brother. They will fight their brother for your sake. I noticed that and I admire that. The next thing is that in Aba where I grew up, you don't practice injustice against any person. There is a system of justice there. If you are an Igbo man and you are oppressing an Akwa Ibom man and you are wrong, the people will go against you, who is their brother. That's what I experienced. The next thing is that if you are sincere, hardworking, they are ready to help you progress. They're not afraid of your competing. Then the next thing I noticed with the Igbo man, he does not bow down his head to be intimidated by wealth. If you are driving your car, you want to intimidate that boy hawking something. He will shout at you, hey man, bupo pokoro moto ka poneba in a carton up ola moto. He said, carry this your useless scrap away from here. That is a carton that's gone out of being called a vehicle. You know why? Even though he is hawking, he has faith and has belief that one day he will buy that car. So an Igbo man does not bow down to you, Igbo young independent man. I'm not talking about traditional rulers and our politicians who are seeking favor and office. So an Igbo man knows that his brothers are all over the country. So they are always afraid of offending you, who is a stranger. I had a good time. I enjoyed there and stayed for 15 years. And so if there is Igbo quarter in heaven, that's where I want to stay because most of my friends will be there. And they have recommended me around this country and beyond to different nations of the world that I've been to. I went there because of the Igbo nation. I'm not an Igbo man, I'm an Urhobo man. But nime mo mbu onye Igbo, mbu nwanwe Igbo. God bless the Igbo nation. I remain your friend, Dr. Charles Pokey.
That's one beautiful story. Then listen to this Yoruba senator. I'm sure he belongs in the same mold with Tinubu, who says that Obasanjo, our own president Obasanjo, is not a Yoruba man. I'm an Igbo man. I want to claim him. Obasanjo is not a perfect human being, guys. I know a lot of people have their reservations, but Obasanjo has been in the corridors of power in Nigeria for over 60 years. Show me any person who has been in the corridors of power for 60 years who lived a perfect 60-year life. And I'll tell you, you can't find him. Obasanjo has made mistakes, but until this day, he's the best president Nigeria ever had in terms of pulling Nigerians together and trying to unify the country. And now that this man said he's an Igbo man and not a Yoruba man, now I see why he did such a great job. That Igbo-ness in him benefited Nigeria. Here is what a Yoruba senator said about his non-Yoruba-ness.
Southwest has never been president before.
But we've had Olusegun Obasanjo.
No, Olusegun Obasanjo is an Igbo man. He came from Anambra State. His father is an Igbo man.
Do you have evidence to this, sir?
My friend, it is he who should come out and say, no, he's not an Igbo man. Everybody knows that it's not a hidden fact. His father became the Obi of Onitsha. So let's put that aside. Zeke was also an Igbo man. The last president is an Igbo man. Three of the three presidents we have from the south, they are all Igbos. They are from the southeast.
Jonathan is south.
Jonathan Azikwe. Does also have people bear Azikwe. There are Igbos in
the Igbo
south
speaking
side.
part of
Yes.
the south.
Yes, the Igbo. Whether it's south or not, it's still Igbo.
Well, this is very controversial.
Oh, look, it's still Igbo.
The ignorance of bigots. There are Nigerians that are so Nigerian that they try to nationalize. One of the greatest Nigerians that ever lived was the mathematician, Professor Chikobi. Chikobi's first son's name is Balogun Chikobi. His second son's name is Mustafa Chikobi. And I'm sure he named some of his children Igbo names. The reason he did that was that Professor Chikobi was a true Nigerian who wanted his children to grow up with the concept of all Nigerians are the same. There is no reason to be tribalistic. Here is a man who is a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Now, let's assume Obasanjo's father is Igbo and his mother is Yoruba. Isn't it sickening, this Yoruba bigoted mentality of Yoruba bigots? Not progressive Yorubas. Guys, separate what I'm saying, because the bigots will run and say he hates Yorubas. No, I love Yorubas. I love Yorubas so much. It is my second tribe in Nigeria because that's where I grew up and I speak the language. When it comes to the spirit of Yorubaness. But the bigotry is sickening. The same thing they did with Gbadebo when he ran for governor of Lagos. And the shameful part is that I hear educated Yorubas in Chicago talk about these bigoted ideas. And these are idiots who in Chicago, not Yorubas in Chicago, the Yoruba bigots in Chicago, criticize similar statements coming from white supremacists. I cry for Nigeria. Here is Gbadebo Rhodes, the former gubernatorial candidate in Lagos, who they say is not Yoruba enough because his mother is Yoruba. Listen to some sound bites he too has about the ignorance of Yoruba bigots in Lagos.
When they say that non-indigenous want to take over, we had 2 commodores that Igbo as governors. Are they the ones that converted Lagos state property to their personal property? The one on Body Lawn? Or the former deputy governor's house that's on Queen's Drive? That's now somebody's property as well? They are not the ones that did it. You go to all the indigenous communities, Badagry, Ojo, Ikorodu, even Ibejuleki. Go and ask the indigenous who is taking their land. Let me give you an example. In Ibejuleki, if you know Amen Estate, opposite Amen Estate, they will tell you that the current first lady has gotten this new era, this land for new era, her foundation. Go and talk to the Ibejuleki indigenes there. They just came one day and said they are taking all this land, that they will settle them. They say, okay, you settle us, your government, at least you settle us now. When it was time for settlement, they came with bag of 50 naira notes and cola. When the people saw it and started complaining, their soldiers just started shooting the air and chased them away. Now today, that land is now for the first lady for her foundation. So who are the biggest land grabbers? Is it the non-indigenous or the non-Yoruba speaking people in Lagos? Is it the non-Yoruba speaking people in Lagos that are converting body land that belongs to Lagos State? Go and look at all the properties that Lagos State had after the capital moved away from Lagos to Abuja, and see who has just been taking it for their personal possession. So this idea of people want to take over, help me make it make sense. APGA has produced Igbo candidates in this Lagos State. Did the Igbo people or non-indigenous vote for him? Go and look for the results that man got. I promise you, not up to 600 people. Not up to 600 people. They voted for PDP, right? And PDP produced an indigene of Lagos as a candidate. So really, if someone wants to take over your land, an APGA and Igbo party has come out with a candidate, should be all of them will gather in their town square and say, oh yeah, all of us, so this is our brother, let's vote for him. Oh. Did they do that? So when you see all these things that they put out there, you realize that it's just a distraction. They want you to be so focused on tribalism while they continue looting and stealing.
Folks, that's the Nigeria we live in. That's the ignorance of so many educated people amongst us. But my appeal here is for Nigeria's progressives, the Yoruba progressives that I continue to bow to in Lagos and across southwestern Nigeria, the Fulani progressives, the Hausa progressives, Edo, Ibibio, Ijo, Efik, Edoma, Tiv, all the progressives around Nigeria. We have to do what it takes to embarrass those idiots, embarrass the bigots in Yoruba land, embarrass the cabal-pocketed Igbos in southeastern Nigeria, and embarrass the cabal-pocketed people across the other states and take our country away from them. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is Fred Nwankwo coming to you from our studios in Chicago with another edition of Bull Talk on LNTV. And until next time, good night and God bless.
Max, if you have no quanumo, no fube, nazo, olaga, ni piazugo, Mawulaga, doni piazugo, Aquawa wilo chio, biko rapuzo, kona bazia, Onyamazere. Sorry, if I were to go on a move, Olaga, no piazugo Nazaboy Maulaga doni piazugo Amama wilo chilo Biko rapu zoro Anabanzi Odogu kenelu bikechufo Ama kwa mnika kugogia Waligwe kwelona Ikejobo belebege
Eku kampu nekene Omogo ndị nsọ Chukwu emekalumo Ike Chukwu negaji Esi nwanne m ekene Ịlapụl ife nini na-eme wee bịa Ka gosili na anyị na gị bụ nwanne wisdom megadi Ka nye gị maịkị ka ogobanya bụ egwu Isili maxi ọ bụ na-etiri egwu a Malụkwa malụ n'imego m ife ọjọọ Wee sị gị nwanne m ife ọbụ na ịchọlụ na ngeme Wisdom onume ekene gị Bama iyo biko lapụ Nabasi
Zoro, 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 zoro Duru joy na bugwa Hausa Sokoto Ujembe mwilo Anu solo nwe nwe manofia nara Onye nwuru zuri